What's crappin'? Welcome to Under the Foreskin, a show dedicated to the happenings of the SJU and Misfits Fantasy Football League. My name is Kyle. I'm the head of football operations for the Potomac Pretenders, the slightly demoralized Potomac Pretenders after their first loss of the season. I'm also the voice of Under the Foreskin and co-commissioner with Alex Dunn. Alex and a few others from the league are up at the Cumberland Cup this weekend. Best of luck up there. Hit the ball straight. Keep it out of the leaves. Hopefully whatever team wins that coveted Lord Cumberland's Cup gets to drink some sanderitas out of it. There's no better feeling in the world than just getting gas drinking out of a trophy that you made a putt on the 9th hole or a long putt on 16 to take that trophy home. So good luck up there, everybody. Let's get right into it. Week 3. Oh, my cat just barfed on the floor next to me. Wow, there's 2 dead bugs and some barf now. Yikes. Week 3, here we go. Let's get her out of the way right away. The Potomac Pretenders took on the Gnawbone Butte Pirates. Most years I'd rather go 1 and 11. 1 and 12 and beat the Butte Pirates and lose to everybody else. But that wasn't the case this year. I got waxed by the Butte Pirates, and it was ugly. 115-78, and it really wasn't that close, folks. Jamal Charles had a big night on Monday night. And that brought me back up to, within non-embarrassing range. But that's still pretty embarrassing. I got hit by the Devonta Freeman semi. What the hell? He scored 38 points this week, and Seattle D scored 23. Those two enough were pretty much take care of my Pretenders. Colin Kaepernick, put him in there this week. Give Sam Bradford a little pine time as he was playing the Jets. He threw 4 picks, a couple touchdowns. They were just to the wrong team, which was unfortunate. And then Terrence Williams, number 1 wide receiver. Real excited when Dez went down that this was going to be kind of his breakout time. But unfortunately, right behind Dez was Tony Romo. And Terrence is just running fly routes down the sideline, and Brandon Whedon's checking it down to Lance Dunbar. So that's a little troublesome for the Potomac Pretenders. For the Butte Pirates, really those 2 guys had big weeks. Tannehill was fine. But they had some holes in their lineup this week. They were beatable, but when you get a guy who scores 38 points and his name's Devonta Freeman, what the fuck? That's going to usually win you the week. So the Butte Pirates waxed the Pretenders. Crapstone, 81. Not quite enough to get past the Saskatoon Skin Flute with 86. Tyrod Taylor for the Skin Flutes with 24. Le'Veon Bell with 19. A couple holes, though. Eifert with the big old donut. When A.J. Green's catching all the balls. And Tyler Eifert's not going to get any of them. And Marcus Wheaton, 1 point this week. Just an awful start for this clown. With Martavis Bryant out, Antonio Brown getting shadowed. You expect big things out of Wheaton. No, he's terrible. Crapstone, Jeremy Macklin finally jumped on the touchdown wagon. First wide receiver touchdown in Coon's age for the Kansas City Chiefs. 21 points against Green Bay on Monday night. Almost completed the comeback. Unfortunately, Devontae Adams went down hurt and had a big old donut in the lineup. If he catches, 60 yards of passes, the Crapstone Prairie Dogs defeat the Saskatoon Skin Flutes with a big Monday night comeback. Kyle Rudolph, 1 point. Another perfect example. There was a touchdown pass, hit him right between the numbers, and Mickey Mouse hands couldn't capture the ball. That touchdown gives Crapstone the win. And then TJ Yeldon, this guy's just a terrible player. He plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're the furthest thing from a running team. He scored 3 points. If Alex would quit tying his ship to Jacksonville running backs, maybe he'd get a win against these Saskatoon Skin Flutes. Next up, Akron Armadillos and Flint Tropics, the Battle of Buffalo. What a game this was. I had a real good time watching this one on the old fantasy cast. Just kind of keeping track of their players. Akron 124, Flint 117. What a matchup. For Akron, the Flint, Larry Fitzgerald, 26 points, AP 25, and Joseph Randall, 27 points. 3 guys over 25 points. That doesn't happen very much. And really, not a ton of holes in his lineup. Leonard Hankerson was the lowest scoring player with 4 points. Not bad in our league. For the Flint Tropics, Tom Brady had another nice week. This guy's just a certified stud. 22 points. Keenan Allen, huge game against the Vikes, even though the Chargers suck dick. 26 points. Real nice game for Keenan Allen there. But C.J. Anderson, just another letdown game, and Dinger's got to be shaking in his Skechers a little bit here. 1 point for C.J. Anderson. I don't think he's had more than 50 yards the whole season. Pretty ugly in Denver with the kind of expectations you have for a guy like C.J. Anderson. Next up, Chernobyl Tin Whiskers took on the Duluth Draft Dodgers. Tin Whiskers with 99 points. Dodgers gave him a scare with 47. Matt Ryan had 22 of those 47. This is a pretty great stat right here. 3 players, the Miami defense, Vernon Davis and Alfred Morris, those 3 combined for -1 point. That might be an all-time worst for 3, I'm not going to call them studs, but 3 guys you have some expectations for to score -1 points. Yikes, A-bomb. 47 points. That was the second lowest of the week. Or no, pardon me, that was the lowest of the week. But yeah, -1 points out of 3 players. That might be a new record. I'd love to go back in the books and figure it out. For Chernobyl, 34 points out of Aaron Rodgers on Monday night. Just an absolute making it rain out there. You know, Vince Vaughn and Backyard of Wedding Crashers kind of stuff. And Arizona, 31 points thanks to Colin Kaepernick. You're very welcome, Chernobyl. I'm not going to give you that opportunity this week. I'm not putting Kaepernick in there. Vereen with 2 points and Anquan Bolin with 1 point. So obviously not a pure lineup out of Chernobyl, but when you get 2 30 burgers, you're generally going to win. The Baton Rouge Border Collies, the plague has set into Baton Rouge. A little bit of like swamp fever or something. I don't know what it is. But Big Ben goes down, messed up his knee. Thank God it wasn't a complete tear, and he's just going to be out for like 4 or 5 weeks. Still no good for Baton Rouge. Randall Cobb did have a huge game with 28 points to boost the Border Collies up to 77 total points. Unfortunately, not enough to take down the Pipeliners of Alaska. 108 points. Julio, best player in fantasy this year by far. Another 29 points, 70 so far this season, YTD. And everyone on the Alaskan Pipeliners was over 6 points. So just congratulations to Seth. Great bachelor party. Caught a huge lake trout, wins in fantasy football. Tough to cap off much better of a weekend than that. So the Hotties, they took on the Poughkeepsie Pandas, and this one was a little bit of a surprise again. I mean, the Pandas have a solid team, but the Hotties only scored 69 points this week. Nowhere near enough to get past the Pandas of 98. Odell Beckham, Mari Cooper, 12 and 13 points respectively. Jeremy Hill, though, 2 points, and the Matt Jones cat from Washington with 1 point. So some big holes in the Hotties roster, and it's not going great for the Hotties this season. Week 4 is going to prove to be a pivotal matchup for them. For the Pandas, I mean, this is just a solid lineup up and down. A.J. Green had a monster week with 36 points. Brandon Marshall looks real good in the white and green, thinking about getting one of those jerseys. He had 15, and then DeAndre Hopkins has just been an absolute stud with 17 points this week. Tyler got completely duped by the old Jets organization, saying Chris Ivory's going to play. That's a big old fat donut. And Justin Forsett, who's looked like he's just carrying a sled out there, he scored 2 points this week on the Ophir Baltimore Ravens. Sioux City Smugglers, they seem to be performing up to midseason pace after a slow start, 128. I thought I was getting waxed by Zach. Look at this game. 128 Smugglers, 52 out of the Waco Wrinklebees. And that 52 points, 29 of those came from Sir Cam Newton. So over half the points came from Cam. Cam puts up his normal game of 12 points. Joel, you might be looking at an all-time low, 35 points. It just couldn't get any uglier for you. Here's another example of 3 players just putting up awful numbers. Matt Prater, -1 point. Can't kick extra points. Andre Johnson, another donut. This guy's invisible out there. And Marshawn Lynch goes down. Bad luck here, but he tweaked a hammy or pulled a back, or I don't know what he did to himself. But he only had 1 point in the week. So the combination of those three players scored 0 points. That hurts. For the Smugglers, 7 in double digits. Greg Olson with a huge game, 26 points. Teach me how to Dougie. Rogers got to be getting frustrated with him. Definitely going to be trying to make a trade with him soon for Teach Me How to Dougie Martin. 4 points this week. Pretty ugly for Dougie Martin. So that wraps up the Week 3 matchups. Let's move on to the trading block. Not a lot of action this year. There was a couple trades this week. Darren McFadden went for the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes to the Sioux City Smugglers for Marcus Colson in the year's most irrelevant trade. And then again, the Duluth Draft Dodgers sent David Johnson from the Arizona Cardinals, I believe fairly newly acquired, and Andy Dalton to the Poughkeepsie Pandas for Heath Miller and James Jones. So the Dodgers had a decent receiver in James Jones. Looks like the real deal in Green Bay. Obviously, real easy to look like the real deal when you got A-Rod thrown to you. But, I don't have a lot to say about this trade. Pretty irrelevant, really. And then waiver wire Wednesday. We had some bidding this week, some pretty exciting stuff going on. Derek Carr went to my team, the Potomac Pretenders, now carrying 3 quarterbacks. And yes, I'm absolutely ashamed of it. I outbid the Border Collies, who were looking for a hurler, by $2, $13. Derek Carr went to me. Jason, maybe we can get a deal done before Sunday morning if you really want him. But I believe you started Michael Vick, so that's not going to work out for you. Never mind. Brian Quick, $17. He went to the Saskatoon Skin Flutes. Outbid the Wrinkle Beast by $15. So Brian Quick, who I think has been a healthy scratch every game so far, is now a Saskatoon Skin Flute. Lance Dunbar, my Pretenders are just sick of the Bishop Sankey bandwagon here, and I needed to get somebody who's getting some relevant play, so I grabbed Lance Dunbar for 28. Outbid a lot of players. Sue Smitty, 18. Chernobyl, 17. Dodgers, 15. So I was happy to get him. Thomas Rawls. Obviously, the Wrinkle Beast would have loved to have Thomas Rawls, but they didn't put much of an effort in. They got $2 in case Lynch doesn't play. Rawls went for $55 to the Duluth Draft Dodgers. If Lynch can't go Monday night, Dodgers might be a little scary this week. We'll see. That was really, the majority of the relevant players. Couple defenses, Mike Vick went for $8 to the Baton Rouge Border Collies in case he didn't get Carr, so that worked out okay for him. But other than that, that's it for Waiver Wire Wednesday. So let's move on to picks. Last week I went 5-2. I'm 14-7 on the season. I'm pretty proud of it. So here we go. Let's kick it off. Hotties and the Pipeliners. I'm going Hotties this week. And what's really scary is these two teams are both pretty solid, and one of them is going to drop to 1-3. So super pivotal week. I'm going with the Hotties this week. I think they're going to bounce back, but if they don't bounce back this week, I'm flat out never picking them again because I think I've picked them all 4 weeks, and they are 0 thus far. Or no, pardon me, they're 1-2 this far. Waco Wrinkle Beast take on the Baton Rouge Border Collies. The Collies are just they got their cone on their head, their tails all wrapped up. They got knee surgery on their back leg. It's just ugly for the Baton Rouge Border Collies. And the Wrinkle Beast might see the return of Arian Foster, but Marshawn Lynch might not play. The Wrinkle Beast absolutely could get their first win this week because the Collies are so beaten up. But I'm going Collies this week. The Wrinkle Beasts haven't proven to me that they can win. They got 10 wins all time, and we're now on season number 4. And I'm going Collies this week. The Butte Pirates take on the Flint Tropics. Butte Pirates with a huge week last week. Devonta Freeman projected for 16 points. I think that's more than any other running back in the NFL this week. Way to go, Yahoo. I like your overreaction theater. But the Tropics are just so solid. And that same team that Devonta Freeman just pummeled last week, the Tropics and Mark Ingram get to take on this week. So Ingram has the huge week. Zach gets a little of his own medicine. And the Tropics get the win. Sioux City Smugglers take on the Duluth Draft Dodgers. Obviously, the Dodgers, if Rawls goes this week, probably the best team they've had, YTD, with James Jones now in the lineup and that Rawls guy. But Sioux City's just too deep. They're so stacked. What a team Roger put together. All that money acquired and some decent keepers. I got the Smugglers pretty much on a bye week this week. Akron Armadillos take on the Saskatoon Skin Flute. And I don't pick the Skin Flutes very often, and I'm not going to this week. Scary week to play the Akron Armadillos. They got 3 number 1 running backs, 3 top 10 running backs with AP, the guy from Buffalo, since McCoy's looking like he's not going to play, and frankly, I can't even remember who their third back is, but a lot of number 1 backs, and it's a scary week to play the Dillos. I'm going Dillos in this one. Crabstone Prairie Dogs take on the Poughkeepsie Pandas. My fellow PP brethren, the Pandas, I'm going with this week. for the Prairie Dogs, their bench, they have literally, I think they have one person who's actually going to see action this week. So they're super thin. Ty Montgomery and Mike Wallace are in their starting lineup. That's not enough to get by the Pandas, who have Forsett, who already had a decent game on Thursday night because I am doing this a little late. You got Ivory playing in London. If he goes this week, he's probably going to have a decent game against this just putrid Dolphins defense. So I'm going Poughkeepsie. Last but not least, my Pretenders take on the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers. My sweet, sweet Rob Gronkowski is on bye this week, and that is a bummer. But David Carr for the Oakland Raiders is playing Chicago this week. They're on the road, but I like their chances. I think Carr has a huge week, dumping balls off to Latavius Murray. I think there's Jamal Charles just keeps the train rolling. The guy's this grade A running back. He's available. If anyone wants to put up a decent proposal for him, I'll consider. But yeah, I'm going the Pretenders this week. What a surprise, right? So that would move Chernobyl to 3-1 and the Pretenders to 3-1. Be an interesting tie up top. I don't think anybody else is 3-0. I think Chernobyl is leading the league right now. One moment, please. I'm pulling up the standings real quick. One moment. Yes, Chernobyl 3-0, the only 3-0 team. So it'll be a pretty good group at 3-1 this week, just judging by how many. There's 6 2-1 teams and 1 3-0 team, and 1 0-3 and 6 1-2 teams. So pretty bunched up right now. Not a lot of O for donuts besides the Wrinkle Beast. Poor Joel. Wow, he only has $2 in his waiver budget. That's probably why he didn't bid very much for Rawls. Anyways, that's it for the week. As always, follow us on Twitter at SJU Misfits, and on YouTube, youtube.com/SJU Misfits. Until next week, good luck out there on the gridiron, and take care, everybody.